Okay, for the last part of the term here, we're going to work on two different projects. Project 3, which is a group project, we have to create a socially relevant game. And the final project, which is more open-ended. You can do it individually or group. You can continue a past project or whatever. The group project 3 is worth 50 points. Final project is worth 100 points. And you'll be developing some new skills and going through some tutorials of your choice in both projects. They overlap a little bit in time frames because with this accelerated course, we're trying to get everything done in time. So make sure you plan accordingly. I expect to be working a little bit on finishing up project 3 while you're still starting the final project. You should watch the due dates are listed for each project in the details here. So let's look specifically at project 3 and what's required on that. Units 11 and 12 are really going to be devoted to Project 3 and working through this. Your job is to create a socially relevant game, and you'll be working as a team for that. The project is broken up into 4 parts here, and we'll go over each part. And here, each part has a different deadline as we go through. So, we want you to be looking at serious games or a socially relevant game, not a game just for entertainment. It certainly can be entertaining, but would have some other aspect of it. So I have some links in here to some other resources for these sorts of games. Everything from citizen science games, where there's games to look at different protein models, to That Dragon Cancer, which is a game created by a game designer whose child was dying of cancer and walks you through the grief and process of that game. It's well known and won a number of awards. So these resources are just to give you some ideas. Again, in our class, you want to limit things and the scope of us to some of the game you can do as a small group. But again, often students just need some sort of ideas of what kind of games out there. So these sort of resources for you to look through and just kind of help you brainstorm on a game. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is create a game plan in a team. So you'll click on this worksheet. That'll bring up this, and all the students will be here, and you can select teams and organize in teams. I'm not going to assign you to teams. You must work in teams of 2 to 4 people on this game. So put down some roles you might want to do and do some teams there. If we have some problems getting teams assigned, I can step in, but I would rather have you select and self-select teams this week here. Just note there is a link, a tab here for the final project here, so make sure you're on Project 3 tab. Here. And eventually you can fill in more information once we get the teams assigned. So again, if you want to do more coding, put that in. If you want to do maybe more scene design or sound editing or 3D modeling, write in what you might be looking at. If you already have a team, just put the team name, fill in the team name here for whoever's on your team. So we'll use that to help organize their teams. Once you do that, you want to create a game plan document. Just describes what your game is, who's your team members, their contact information, things like that. What's the heart and soul of this game? What is it going to look like? It's kind of like this sound, gameplay, 2D, 3D, just the basic details of the game. And then how this game serves society in some ways. Well, what is it doing to help in some ways? So create this as a Google document and share this as your game plan. I assume each team will create one game document, and then everyone on the team can just submit a link to that document. Now I want you to be learning something, but rather than fixing you on one skill you have to learn, I'm going to give you some options for this game, for this unit. So part of the game is to do a skills development, and this is actually a fair amount. While the game plan is only worth 5 points, the skill development is worth 15 points and is worth almost as much as the whole game grade itself, which is 20 points. So this is an important area. You are to pick some area you want to learn more about and work on that. There are some example ones in here, blending, modeling characters, doing more shooting survival sort of stuff. There's a first player multiplayer shooting tutorial here, other multiplayer networking stuff, but you can choose any topic you want want and develop that skill, find some tutorials. I know lots of ideas and concepts. So if there's something you're interested in, just shoot me an email or a text message saying, I'm looking at this. Do you have any good suggestions? I also record some tutorials here. I can do that sort of stuff for you. So let me know what you want, and I can either record resources or point you to resources for that. But this is an important part of your thing, is to develop a skill in game design that you choose. When you submit it, you're going to have to tell me what the skill is and how you used it in the project, and what resources you used in learning that skill. Often it's fine if you can find one good tutorial or two good tutorials or something like that. That's all you need, and then apply it to your project somehow. It has to be a skill that you apply in this project. Finally, we have to do a game reflection. When you're done with this game, how did it go? How was your team? What did you learn? What would you do this time? I mean, this whole practice development stuff is to help us improve, and reflection is a good way to take a break, think of how things went, and plan on how you will do things better or differently in the future. So you have to do this reflection at the end of your task. Now, as far as submitting the game and scoring the game, this is tied to this game presentation demonstration, and so this is a 20 points for the actual game itself. And we'll let you do demonstrations using Zoom here, and I'll post the Zoom link again here soon. Now, as far as how I will score games, if you go to this rubric, you can see the game scoring rubric. Let me bring this up. So, did you hit the requirements? There's not, here, there's not a whole lot other than socially relevant games. Creativity, aesthetics, gameplay, organization are how I'm going to be scoring this game. So you can kind of look through that and see how the game's gonna be scored. So, but again, that's the final thing you will submit, is that working game, and you'll demonstrate it and submit a link to it. I assume what would be a good way to do it is if someone in the team zipped it up and put it into a Google Drive folder, and then pushed it up on GitHub, and then posted the link here. I just need one link from each team, and then member submitted. And also for the presentation, I don't need the whole team there if that doesn't work. I just need someone from the team to demonstrate that. So that's this project. Hopefully it lets you learn something new about game design. You've got to work in a team and hopefully create an interesting, socially relevant game. Good luck.